the summary of the presentation. We will revisit, each and every point again. So this is Estonian Entrepreneurship University of Applied Sciences, also known as MENA University, based in Tallinn, Estonia. I hope my screen is visible to you for the presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So if you see that we are located on the right-hand side of the slide, you can see the address. We are very well placed in Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia. And Estonia marked as one of the Schengen countries out of 29. This particular country is known for digital economy. So when it comes to being digitally sound, this particular nation as a whole is 99.9% digital economy. We will cover up some points also regarding what are the USPs of being there in Estonia, how it is a little bit different than the other Baltic countries. So we will have an overview about the USPs of this particular destination. Talking about Estonian Entrepreneurship University, you can have an overview about how the campus looks like. The color code very well are placed in the building colors. So it's more of yellow and gray color building. And in this particular presentation, I'm going to cover about Ulmaste city, which is the smart capital based in Tallinn, where we are very well placed. So I'll give you a drone view of where we are in terms of being the university and the incubation center. How do we connect the candidates with the industry experts? The kind of programs that are available are Creativity and Business Innovation Program. We also have a triple accredited program by 3 different universities, which is called Creativity and Business Innovation Joint Program. Currently, the Estonian economy is booming also in terms of game designing and game app building. So that is one of the very, very upcoming career that is available across Estonia. And we have this game design and development course also available for the undergraduate program students. Our flagship program, Software Development and Entrepreneurship, how do we have the 100% placement? For this particular program, we'll talk about that. The master's program that is available with EUAS is International Business Administration, open for students from all domains. So this is also one of the very strong curriculum that we have in Estonia. And post that, what are the career opportunities for students who then graduate out of the MBA program that we will discuss. Apart from this, the overall admission process, which is not very tedious, it is pretty easy if we can just align and see the eligibility criteria and have the good candidates. For those who are new to Baltic countries, you can have a view on the map of how these particular countries are placed. Above Baltic countries is Helsinki, the capital of Finland. So Finland is the country there. And below, if you see on the left-hand side is Poland. So we are surrounded by Belarus, Poland, Helsinki, which is Finland, right? So these particular countries. On the left-hand side is Baltic Sea, hence Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. These 3 particular countries comprise of Baltic countries. So if you see the map which is highlighted here, these 3 countries are called Baltic countries because they're surrounded by Baltic Sea, which has one of the most richest soil. All right, so it is something which is growing economy in terms of healthcare industry, in terms of cosmetics and much more related to what can be extracted out of the rich soil that is available there. So a lot of other job opportunities are prevailing in these particular 3 countries because of the Baltic Sea, Baltic soil. We'll more talk about Estonia, which is EUAS is the largest private university of Estonia. When we say largest private university, it means that in Estonia there are 2 to 3 more private universities available, but we are the one with the highest number of placement opportunities, and we are having the biggest connection in terms of the industry network that we have. And thanks to the MENA group. So as I told you in the very first slide, it is also called MENA University. The MENA group is like Ambani is here in India. So similarly, the MENA group is there in Estonia, who owns most of the shares and the maximum number of shares in Ulumus, the city, the smart city. So majorly when we say all the connections with the best of the companies are there with MENA group. Hence, every student with Estonian Entrepreneurship University is well placed because of the connections that they have. The university was founded in 1992 with a capacity of 1100 to 1300 students at this particular campus. We also have another campus in Tartu, which is another city in Estonia. But there we have short term duration programs and programs mostly taught in Russian and Estonian language. Hence, we do not promote that particular campus. We only promote the campus in Tallinn, or you can say the campus in Ulumus, the city. Currently, we have 4 programs there which are taught in English at the UG level and 1 program at the master's level. All the programs are well accredited by European Union standards, which means these particular university degrees which are there in Estonia are globally recognized and carry the same ECTS as of the Western European countries. So 180 to 240 ECTS you'll find in the 4 years program. 120 ECTS you'll find in the master's degree program. Okay, so it's similar to the other Schengen countries degree that is available. This is the drone view of Ulumus, the city. If you see, they're not very far off from the airport. So just a 15 minutes drive from the international airport in Tallinn. So it's very convenient for the students to come to Ulumus, the city. And if you see here, this is our university. So the best part is it's not a very, very big, I would say, infrastructure, but we have incubation center within the university where if you see all these particular university, which are the top good Fortune 500 companies there and the best of the startups there in Estonia, they all are our employers. So our students connect from the very first day with this particular talent hub, and then they find their ways to have an employment while they are studying with us. The law of land in Estonia allows all the students to work full time. Hence, every student is engaged into a full time job while they are studying with us. That's one of the other opportunities which are available. This is Ulumus, the city where top talents are located, and almost 73 nationalities live within this Ulumus, the city where we are located. Hence, it's a very diverse culture, and language barrier is not there. Like you see, other countries in Schengen have their own language, and there can be a language requirement. The barriers are there in terms of getting placements. Here in Estonia, that's not the case. In Estonia, because of the diverse culture and the nationalities which are living within Tallinn, uh, English is widely spoken and it is treated as the first language. Only if a student wants to have the PR after 5 years of their stay in Estonia is when they think about learning Estonian much. However, in their daily lives and as a part of curriculum, because we teach Estonian, it becomes very easy for our students to become proficient by the end of their course duration. As a module in the undergraduate degree, we do teach them Estonian language, but in the master's level, usually there are very few modules of Estonian language up to A1 and A2 level. However, it is pretty easier for them to survive within Estonia with that particular proficiency. Apart from the nationality, 16,000 working professionals currently are living there within Tallinn, within Ulumus, the city. Hence, lot of time, most of our students are engaged into participating in hackathons, into sports events which are conducted by Ulumus, the city. Exhibitions are happening around the year. So if I talk about the number, most of the students are actually participating in almost 100 such events every year. So if we see, Estonia is really a busy country, and if I talk particularly about Ulumus, the city, you Google about Ulimaste City, you'll see all the schedule of the events that are going to happen and that have already happened during this year. So students basically keep building their skills throughout the year while they are working with the companies there within Ulimaste City. Coming to the location, that's the best part, that we are located in Ulimaste City and are the only university which is in Ulimaste City. Hence, students are assured of the placement. And by the end of first year, our students who are doing usually the courses like startup entrepreneurship or creativity and business innovation end up forming their own company or launching their own startup by the end of the first year. So this is how well our curriculum is placed. Most of our
this English taught programs, 4 UG and 1 PG, which it is there in which campus? I mean, which city these programs are run?
we are discussing only the campus which is in Ulimaste City in Tallinn. Tallinn.
Okay.
Tallinn is the capital. Within Tallinn, as I showed you the map here, this is Tallinn. So this is a part of Tallinn, but this is all Ulimaste City.
Okay.
Within Ulimaste City. And Ulimaste City, if you see the companies, because it's a drone view, you can see it very short. But if you see this building and the other buildings, all these are startup companies or the best of the companies in the whole Europe. They usually start up from Estonia and then they open up their other ventures into other countries. I will list you some of the employers also of who are located in Ulimaste City. So we'll go through those websites also. Okay, so your team can have a very nice overview of what we are talking about Estonia. But if you see the campus of EUAS looks so tiny here in the drone view. However, all these companies which are there, they are connected with our students usually, and it is for our students to actually take advantage of the connection that the university is having, because most of these companies, MENA group is the highest number of shareholder for most of them. So majorly in most of these companies which are born in Estonia and majorly the startups, MENA Group is one of the investors. So they are the biggest investors across Estonia. Hence, the Tallinn campus teaches them in English language courses, and we are not open to English courses in the other campus, which is in Tartu, because Tartu is a different city and it is not like this of how you can see this one. It's a very, I would say, silent and not that developed as Tallinn. So in Tallinn only we keep our international students. They don't go to Tartu. They can go to Tartu just for the short duration exchange program if they want. Teachers here with EUAS mostly are PhD holders, and they are not academician at all. They are mostly industry experts. So when it comes to being industry experts, which means they have good experience in leadership, they are mostly owning the startups and they are working professionals from across Europe. So mostly they are from, I would say, UK, Germany, and the other part of the Schengen zone. And they are teaching there in Estonian university as well. In terms of the curriculum, which has been vetted by the industry as well as by the academicians already, it's one of the best curriculum that we have as across Estonia. And we take care of all our students being placed well in the companies, which is we help them to build their curriculum, to train them of how well they can present themselves to the companies. There are a lot of participation that happens in the events across, as we mentioned. So students usually get scaled up from the very first trimester. They start participating there. Talking about the programs, you can take a screenshot of this if you want. To start with, it is CBI, which we call Creativity and Business Innovation Joint Program. By joint program, the degree is awarded by 3 different universities here. When we talk about 3 different universities, one, EUAS stamps the degree. The second is by Vilnius University in Lithuania. They grant the degree, and the third is Porto Polytechnic in Portugal. So all these three stamps are there, the accreditations are there on the degree, which is a joint degree in CBI that the student achieves.
Ma'am,
The
Estonia,
exposure,
sorry, it's Estonia, Lithuania, and what is the third one, ma'am?
third is Portugal, Porto Polytechnic or Polytechnic of Porto, right? Which is in Portugal. So what happens in this joint degree is students basically who are looking forward to have um, a diverse exposure into different countries, or who are looking forward to global exposure, and they just don't want to complete their degree while staying only in Estonia. They want to have experience into other countries also. They usually visit 3 different countries and complete this degree. How it happens is the first 2 semesters happen in Estonia. Third and fourth semester will be split into Lithuania and Portugal. And the fifth and sixth semester, which is the last year, will happen back into Estonia. So student will go and study into 3 different countries. Got it? First year in Estonia, then they'll go to Lithuania, then they'll go to Portugal, and then they come back to Estonia to graduate, and hence they get the post-study work permit of Estonia in 3 years. It's a 3 years degree program. The tuition fee is a little less for this particular program. We'll see the tuition fee on the website after this particular presentation. I'll show it to you of how to see that. The second program is Creativity and Business Innovation. This particular degree is a regular bachelor's degree, happens only in Estonia. It's not like joint program. So students who do not achieve a CGPA, which is required for the joint program, or they're not willing to go to other countries, they can achieve the degree while being in Estonia. And they study for 3 years again, achieves 180 ECTS to complete the degree. The flagship program, Software Development and Entrepreneurship, you can also take it as a BSc Computer Science, BSc IT, and I'll show you the curriculum. It's a very, very diverse degree, I would say, in the field of IT and computer science. So the kind of degree that they awarded is Informatics and Information Technology degree in BSc, Bachelor of Science. It's a 3 years degree program with 180 ECTS again. We have a short placement for this particular program. Then one of the upcoming career opportunities into gaming industry is also there, which a student after doing the game design and development can achieve. This particular degree is also very good. We connect the students from the very first week with the gaming companies, and then they start doing their projects and building the applications, or they can launch their own company, gaming company, by the end of the first year, and then develop their business for the next 2 years when they complete the degree. Why I'm saying they can get into the full-time job while they are studying is every student is allowed 40 hours weekly, or say no restriction to the part-time job hours. So it's not restricted to 20 hours weekly. We have classes from Monday to Wednesday, if you see it here, and the rest of the 4 days students are free to work full time. Plus, these particular classes on Monday to Wednesday can also be as per the will of the student, either in the morning schedule or in the afternoon schedule. So depending upon their employment's requirement, they can accept the schedule accordingly and adjust their studies. However, they should remain committed to their curriculum assignments and should be submitting that on time so that they do not compromise on their study credits. Any question in the UG degree program?
Ma'am, what will be the fees for this joint program?
I will take you through the website. As I mentioned, let me give you a real overview of the website also after this, where to find what.
And
I will also show you the curriculum there.
Okay.
after 12th, after diploma, percentage, backlogs, gap, and IRTS criteria.
Yes, I will cover up all those things here. Criteria for admission. It should be very, very clear to everyone. We want 50% marks in each subject for an applicant who is applying for UG, which is undergraduate. So any student applying for the bachelor degree here in Estonia, and I'm talking about Estonia, means all the universities across Estonia. That's the requirement. 50 marks each in every subject which is on your last mark sheet. So if an applicant has completed 12th standard, which is senior secondary education, and they have the mark sheet showing only the 12 subjects, you see each subject should be above 50 or 50 minimum, not 45 in any subject. Any means even physical education should not be that. Hindi should also not be 49. So 50 is the minimum marks they must carry with an overall aggregate of 60%, which is first division. Now, in some of the boards like Punjab board or in South also we have a few where it's a cumulative mark sheet of 11th and 12th combined together in a single leaflet, right? Then also the similar criteria would be followed, which means in 11th and 12th combined mark sheet also that transcript must not carry any mark below 50. So 49 is not acceptable. 50 marks in each subject with overall 60% minimum. 59% is also not acceptable. Okay. We need the SOP for whichever program an applicant is choosing. SOP weighs 30% of the acceptance criteria. So please be very vigilant of what to write in the SOP. It should not be very lengthy. A font of Arial with 12. So 12 or 11 Arial is only accepted and it should be only one pager. This is the requirement for SOP in terms of UG student. One page Arial, 12 font maximum can be the criteria. Similarly, CV weighs approximately 20% of the acceptance criteria. Hence, it should be very, very precise. And in terms of any experience or gap years, that has to be mentioned in the CV of what student has done. If I explain you about CV, I would prefer if you and your candidate can make it in Europass format. Why we're mentioning Europass format is across Estonia, employment is done through Europass CVs only. Europass is a startup from Estonia. So they have a very nice format which is appreciated across European Union for employment opportunities. Hence, from day one, EUAS trains the student to make a very, very attractive CV on Europass format, and that has to be uploaded on the LinkedIn profile of the candidate. So please ask candidate to invest a little bit time, make a CV, because by the time they get the visa and they enter Estonia, if their CV is ready and uploaded on LinkedIn, they can start looking for the work opportunities when they land there. Okay, so this is why we prefer CV in Europass only. Then students should not be struggling, oh, what is Europass? Why should we make it? So it is for you, you can clear it in advance that it opens up your job opportunities. Third, any passport which is to be stamped for a long-term stay visa, which is D category visa, what a student is granted in Estonia as well, similar to France, Germany. The 2 years validity should be remaining for the passport. If the passport, you see, it is active, but if it is expiring within 2 years and by the time they enter Estonia, if it is less than 2 years, it's not okay for immigrations. So when the passport reaches to the embassy, which is you calculate from September until next 2 years, the passport validity must be 2 years minimum. So you have to evaluate that. Coming to the English proficiency, a student with 5.5 IELTS at a UG level can be accepted. We do not accept TOEFL or we do not accept PTE or Duolingo. We can accept TOEFL and academic based only, so center based, which is that we validate it for 2 years, and it has to be within a score of 46 to 59, not below that. If a student is having IELTS, you see each band should be at 5.5. No band below 5.5 is acceptable. So 5 band in any of the modules will not be accepted. It has to be a minimum of 5.5 and overall band of 5.5. Any questions in this eligibility criteria?
Yes.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
do you
gap
accept
justification.
IELTS CBT, computer-based test?
Say it again.
Do you accept IELTS CBT, computer-based test?
No.
And IELTS home edition?
Home edition is also not acceptable. Okay. Proper center IELTS are acceptable. So academic IELTS is only the thing that we accept.
Yeah,
We
I guess,
There
ma'am,
can be an opportunity. We validate the IELTS for 3 years. So a student who has the expired IELTS last year, we can still accept that. Student candidate who is having an international degree from other country or from within Schengen or Europe, we can still accept that. So an international degree will have a waiver on the IELTS. Yes.
yeah, ma'am, I was just adding to Janvi ma'am's question that she asked CBT, if I'm not wrong.
See, CBT is also not acceptable. Computer based is not acceptable. I'll tell you why. All these documents that I've mentioned here, everything will go to NIC body. So Estonia has a verification which is to be done by NIC. There we only prefer IELTS and TOEFL score, and it is only the academic or center based. IELTS, I don't think we accept it because once we have refused that. However, I will speak with the admissions department in case the IELTS score is higher. They usually interview the candidate. Each candidate goes through an interview by the faculty. So maybe they can gauge the English proficiency. But when it comes to NIC, whether it will be accepted or not, that would be advised. But the computer-based IELTS is not accepted usually. It
But
has to be
ma'am,
center-based one.
okay, but from July, that officially the body has already declared that paper-based test, the center-based, they are going to stop it. And from July onwards this year, it will be only computer-based test available for students. So the question has this.
We
Apart
can
from this,
I
uh,
can check it for you.
okay.
But as of now, there is no such change that has come in from the university, and so a university would usually issue a circular in case of any such change. As of now, it is only the center-based IEL that we accept.
CBT
Earlier,
also in the center only, ma'am. As such, they go to official center of
if
IELTS.
you have what I'll do is I can forward it to NIC body because they are the ones who have made this particular requirement for the country and not the university. So give it to me, like you can share with me one of the certifications and we can share it to NIC body for that.
Sure, ma'am. I have. I'll share.
Because the decision will come from NIC, not from the university end.
Okay.
Okay, so we can definitely share it with them. Any other requirement or any other change you've heard apart from IELTS for TOEFL also?
No, ma'am. TOEFL only the pattern is little change, but it is same.
All right. Okay, I can check it for you. So we'll park this. And after this presentation, you can forward me one of the certification. Let us get it approved in case there's a possibility. Okay. Admission process is simple, yet the student has to be prepared very nicely for the interview. Usually the faculty will take the interview and select the batch. So student must carry a good English proficiency and understanding on the curriculum. Hence, it becomes important. Like I will show you the curriculum currently after this presentation on the website. You take student through the presentation, not this particular presentation, but the university website so that they can have an overview about the curriculum and the modules they are going to study, which will give them a good idea to phrase their answers nicely while they're going through the interview with the faculty. Okay, so faculty interview usually is taken after 2 weeks or within 2 weeks, depending upon what's the timeline of the university approaching. So they will take the interview and then only the conditional offer letter and the tuition fee receipt invoice is issued to the candidate. Once they pay the tuition fee invoice and they submit the SWIFT to the university, then they will receive the invitation and the other documents for filing the visa. So after the student is accepted, then we take a decision whether to assist the student with the embassy process, and we coordinate with you and start filing for their applications with the Estonian embassy. We do not have to apply for VFS, or there is no third body who takes care of the visa process for Estonia. It is directly into the embassy in New Delhi. So all students from South Asia, if you're recruiting other nationalities also, will come down to India in New Delhi, and they will be appearing with the embassy for the interview. Enigmatic process usually takes 4 to 6 weeks to get the decision, which means when you will submit the file to us, we file the application with enigmatic body immediately, and within 2 weeks the student would be interviewed. By the time student gets selected, the enigmatic results will also be out in the next 2 weeks. Hence, the total duration to give the acceptance for a particular candidate is 4 to 5 weeks time, wherein they get the documents issued. And then during the 7th week, I suppose, or 6th or 7th week, we submit the file with the embassy. Once the file is there with the embassy, it takes 1 week, which is 5 working days, to get the visa result. Visa result from the embassy does not take much time, and then the student can book their tickets. So while filing the visa, we prefer students should only provide a tentative date of travel through the dummy ticket. They need not book the proper ticket. Okay.
Ma'am,
Any question in here? Yeah.
can you explain this admission process once again, this enigmatic and all 3 points?
To start with, when you have a candidate, you just share the documents at the South Asia email address. We assess the application, whether they are falling within the 50 marks criteria. English proficiency is good, IELTS is given, and we go through the CV. So if the profile is suitable, we select them for the course that he has applied for. In case there is a requirement or we find any gap, there is a mock interview or the initial introduction interview that can be aligned together with the South Asia team. That can be done. Okay, wherein we show them what is it about the university, about the course that they're choosing, so that they do not get rejected in the video interview with the faculty. All right. So after giving the application, we assess the file and we tell you whether a student is good to go for EUS or not. And once the student is okay, we submit the file for enigmatic process. You don't have to do that. Enigmatic process usually comes at a cost of 100 euros, but we do not charge it initially because at times the enigmatic can also come negative. Okay, so that cost is not paid initially. It is, we keep it for post visa. In our service charge, we include that. Enigmatic is a verification body, which is like, I don't know if you're doing Latvia, you're doing Lithuania, so, or you're doing UK. So Enigmatic is a UK body. It takes care of the verification of the education documents for a candidate to see the authenticity of those documents, which takes, actually the verification takes 4 to 6 weeks time, wherein they contact the Indian university or the school to authenticate whether this particular student's documents are not forged. Okay, so that is the internal check that they do. That process takes 4 weeks time. So within 4 weeks, we get to know when the verification is completed. If enigmatic comes negative, which means there is forgery in the academic document, the student will not receive an acceptance letter, which is very, very rare. Like out of, I would say, 50 files, only 2 files are refused. This is where we play a role in eligibility check initially when you give us the documents. So we usually go through the roll number and everything. We authenticate if the documents are okay, then only we forward it to enigmatic. Your team has to be very vigilant when they're giving us the initial documents. It doesn't have to be in a bad quality, because those particular documents will go to Enigmatic physically. We get it printed, it is a colored print, and then it is forwarded to Enigmatic, which means it should be machine scanned. So all the mark sheets, say for 10th, 11th, 12th, 11th is not usually required, but in case it is a cumulative mark sheet, then 10th and 12th, okay, including the 11th, is automatically by default there. So those mark sheets, the passport copy, one photograph, which is a passport size photograph, and IELTS score goes to Enigmatic. So these have to be in a very good quality. CV does not go for Enigmatic, so it can be a black and white also, that is fine. So this particular process is clear how it happens. And once it is completed, then the university starts issuing the documents.
Any charges to be paid, ma'am, till this process?
No.
Okay.
Application fee is waived and is only charged in terms of the refund policy. So if a student backs out after paying the tuition fee, they file a refund after a certain time, then the administrative charge, like the application fee of 100 euros, is deducted, 50 to 100 depending upon the timeline. But initially a student is not paying anything. Okay.
Yeah,
There is
I
no
have
charge. There is no charge till the visa is filed. Apart from the tuition fee, what is paid in the university account, there is no charge a student is paying.
Ma'am, I have three questions. Ma'am, one of which is my colleague's question. So, what is the gap accepted for UG, ma'am?
See, for UG, if the gap is justified, as I told you, when you prepare the CV, you mark the gaps. So if it is a good experience or the certification or diplomas, this is what we've mentioned. During the gap year, if a student has done any scaling up courses, any certification courses, any diplomas, it has to be updated well in the CV.
Ma'am, if the student has not done anything and it's been like 3 years, like he's completed his 12th and 3 years he's not done anything, so is he eligible?
Their interviews plays the major role. They have to justify it to the interviewer, and interviewers are usually their faculty. So it is between the student and the faculty of what interview they give and what they say regarding the gaps. They are not accepted if they are not good for Estonia. Estonia usually has 100% visa till date. For a decade, we do not have any rejection till date. And we do not open much this particular university for any B2B agencies also. Only within India, I would say I have 3 to 5 partners with whom we are working in Estonia. Reason being the same, we do not want any drop in the interview success. Okay. So the criteria remains very clear. If you have a good student who is wanting to graduate, maybe they are not good at studies, that is fine, but who are wanting to graduate from Estonia and who are wanting to settle in Estonia, they are most welcome. Estonia do not kick back their students or any of the residents out of the country. If a student is good and they are wanting to work in the domain of IT, management, finance, healthcare, anywhere, they are welcome to Estonia, but they should be graduating. That's the only criteria. So a student has to prove their potential and motivation towards the subject that they are choosing. This is why it becomes important for you to show them the curriculum, what they're going to study. They mark it in their mind. Okay, these are the subjects, and accordingly, they prepare themselves for the video interview with the faculty.
Okay, and ma'am, what are the intakes for this, ma'am? How many intakes
We
are there
have
in
two
this?
intakes, September, which is August end actually. The first intake is starting on 26th of August, and the second intake starts on 26th of January, so which is February intake usually. By 26th, the first 4 days are kept for orientation, socializing, connecting them with the companies. And this is why in the first month or the second month, my student can find a job there in Estonia. Okay, so they can earn very well. They earn more than the cost of living there in Estonia. We'll cover up all that in the coming slides. Any question regarding the criteria?
Yeah, ma'am, I do have a question. Ma'am, here it is written that online test. So is it compulsory for all students or it is optional, and what kind of test it is?
If we see there is a gap, at times we are even waiving off the interview. If we see the mark sheets have very good academic results, the CV is very impressive, a faculty can even waive off the video interview for a candidate. They can even waive off any of the test. But if we see the mathematics marks are very less and somewhere it is not seeming a very good candidate, then we align the interview with the faculty. So faculty can be assured that what we are sending them is a good candidate for them, right?
So it will be like a subject test, a math or English or
It
something like
would
that.
be more towards the aptitude, mathematics, yes, of course, for computer science students, it would be there. And the basic mathematics like algebra, uh, solution driven questions.
Yes.
So more of that is there to check their IQ.
Okay, got it, ma'am.
Okay. If a candidate is very good and you see, okay, you're giving us a group of students, but they should not be rejected, we can even curate a proper test for them to prepare them better before they come to Estonia. So, as I told you, we work as the admission department as a pathway progression for this particular university, and we can design anything for them. Which means, if there is a requirement, a student wants to learn even Estonian before they fly out, we can even align and have the group being taught A1 level so that the student can go there and they can have some other opportunities as well. So depending upon what's the requirement, we usually twist the application process in terms of video interview and online test in consideration with the vice rector. So the vice rector and rector, which is the chancellor and the chairman of the university, usually take a decision. So it's not a proper university thing, I would say. It's more of we are skilling the candidates and we are placing them. Okay.
Also, ma'am, do you help with the mock test, mock interview?
We can do that. So if you want every candidate should go through the mock interview, just make a request over the email saying that align the mock interview. While you submit the initial documents, we can do that.
Okay, ma'am, noted.
Okay. So this is about UG. Coming to the master's degree program, which is just one. Masters in International Business Administration. Okay. Tuition fee we will again go through. I think it's increased to 8,700 euros, but I will just check and let you know from the website. It's a 2 years degree program with 120 ECTS and a proper MBA degree globally recognized. A very, very strong curriculum for candidates who are from IT background or from commerce background with mathematics, without mathematics, from arts background. Anybody can enter into this particular program who is wanting to launch their startup, wanting to launch their own business, or who want to work in the best of the companies there. Anybody. So there is no set criteria. Also, the recent graduates can be accepted. So a student who is currently into their final semester can also go there. There is no requirement of 2 years or 1 year of the experience. That is not required. Here, the interview is taken by the professor of the program itself, which is Dr. Janusz. So Dr. Janusz takes the interview for every candidate who applies for master degree program, and he is the one selecting his own batch. Okay. So understand it's a very, very close communication between the professor and the student here in the university, where the professor knows where to place my student, who has got what kind of competencies, what is the skill set of each candidate, and accordingly, he will give the projects to that particular candidate to be able to settle down in Estonia. Okay. The requirement remains 60% again, which is first division in the bachelor's mark sheet. Then the 10th and 12th grade scores are not seen. IELTS requirement is 5.5 in each band with an overall of 6 band. That's the requirement for master's degree program. Motivation letter is required. In the motivation letter, we prefer it not being more than 1.5 page. However, we prefer one pager motivation letter with Arial font 11, not more than that. What is the best part and what is so unique about EUAS is our scholarship and exchange program. We have a huge funding from European Union, from Ulumaste City, and from MENA Group. Huge funding. When I say huge, it is really huge, which is not available with any of the universities I know across Shanigan. Which means one student can also have 4 to 5 exchange programs within 1 year into different countries. Okay, when I talk about exchange means they can within 1 year in 6 months take the funding, utilize it, and have an exposure into different university partners of Estonian Entrepreneurship University. So they are not restricted to utilize that funding for their own. And when we see utilizing the funding, which means the travel cost is covered, their per diem cost, daily expenses cost is covered. A student from the pocket is not spending anything. All what is paid is by the university to give them exposure into different country. So usually when we talk about the exchanges, it happens during summer vacations or for special projects, and it is for student to how well they use that funding, which means they must be well aware about what kind of opportunities are coming in Japan or in Hungary, usually in Finland, Slovakia, Slovenia, Cyprus, US. Our students usually go to all these countries and utilize the funding. Why they go there is to complete the projects with the companies. So it is for the student in the incubation, they have to be connected with the company give them the projects, and they are responsible for completion of their projects while visiting the other countries or the companies, for which the financial responsibility remains with the university. So again, it is a very, very good exposure that EUAS provides to the student, but it is for the student to utilize them. Okay. Coming to the scholarship section, we have a special scholarship page on the website. I will show you. However, for all the fresh students, which is the freshmen, scholarships are not open. Scholarships are only for the existing candidates, which means students who have completed 1 semester or above. So to make it clear, after the student complete the first semester, on the basis of their grade in that first semester, the scholarship opportunity is open for them. Okay, not before that. So it is purely for the students who get good grades in the first semester and onwards. So every semester, there are multiple scholarships on the basis of achievements in the projects, on the basis of the thesis, on basis of the academic score that they are selected for the scholarship. And scholarship can also be up to 100%, which means that tuition fee for the second year can be totally free in case they achieve good results. Any question in here? Then we'll move for the student accommodation. Any questions for scholarship?
Age or gap criteria for both UG and masters?
Hmm?
Age criteria, gap. So you said there is
There is no age barrier in Estonia. We will come to that. Okay. I'll cover up all your points. So again, for the scholarship, there is no age criteria also. Okay. It is purely on the basis of academic score and the performance when they are studying in the university and the initiatives that they're taking. Maybe they are very good with the faculty. Maybe they're taking care of the hostel or the student, I would say, representations and the success, or representing the university. So becoming student ambassador, they get scholarships. Okay, so how active are they with MENA group? This results in scholarship. Erasmus partner universities, we have approximately 250 plus partner universities where Erasmus funding can be used by our students very nicely. Coming to student accommodation, We do not have housing of our own. However, there are good housing units available nearby the university. Okay. And once the student gets the acceptance letter, we can help them to book the accommodation, which has to be 3 months of agreement from the housing unit and 1 month of minimum payment. Usually we prefer 6 months of payment also, but depending upon what's the cost and what the pocket of the student allows, we usually ask them to do accordingly. There is no such rule, but the minimum rule is 3 months of agreement with 1 month of accommodation, reservation, payment, receipt. Coming to why choose EUAS and answering all your questions now in this particular slide. Unlimited opportunity for part-time employment. So there is no barrier of 20, 30 or 40 hours. A student can work as much as they want. The minimum wages as per Estonian government is around 1,080 euros. A student is paid. Okay, 1,080. However, the cost of living in this particular country is between 500 to 550 euros only. So students end up saving a lot of money for their next year tuition fee. And I would say, as far as the success stories are concerned, for most of our students who have previously graduated, none of them usually ask for the second or third year of tuition fee component from the parents or ever the cost of living from the parents. They are independently living in Estonia. Only for the first year, the parents support usually. So you can assure the parents also, if you know, that they should not be concerned about. Why? Because of the career opportunities that are available, they'll be easily able to earn and have their spending for the second, third year. English is widely spoken in Tallinn, because we are in Ulamas, the city, with 73 plus nationalities and 23 plus nationalities within the university. This is a Wi-Fi free country, so it's a complimentary Wi-Fi. And as Estonians say, Wi-Fi is the human right in Estonia. Nobody pays for this particular facility. Also, for the public transportation across the capital, nobody pays. So it's free of cost on the basis of their temporary residence card that they have. So students are saving on to the Wi-Fi, students are saving on to the public transportation. Only what they pay is their accommodation as well as the food. Scholarships are very generous. Starting from the second semester or second year onwards, they can even achieve full scholarship. Housing is available usually after the completion of 3 months of agreement. When the student reaches there, they can easily afford an accommodation of 200 euros, independent accommodation. So that's not very expensive. Students usually can stay together in a decent apartment, which is available from 350 to 400 euros also, and they can share it on twin basis. Curriculum is very strong here in Estonia at this university, and we have good connections. So students are welcome to just explore their career opportunities. After they graduate, minimum of 9 months of job seeking visa is given to them, which is post-study work permit of 9 months. Once they find the employer within this 9 months, the TRP card is issued to them for 5 years. So the stay back is straight away 5 years as soon as they have the employer.
Ma'am, this is also valid for bachelors?
Everybody, yes. For bachelors, for masters, for PhD, this is valid. So a 9 months of extension on the existing TRP card, whichever the student is holding, is given to them. And during that, they find an employer or the change of employer our student have from the very first year. So that's not a struggle at all for our students. However, when they get the TRP card, it is for 5 years straight away, which gives them a benefit to stay in Estonia for 5 years and to be there in any of the Schengen country for up to 90 days, which is for 3 months. They can even stay and explore the career into different Schengen countries. Okay, that's the rule of TRP. They can go to Schengen countries, the other ones, but do not exceed 90 days of stay there. They have to come back to Estonia, okay, within 90 days. to be able to remain valid on that TRC. Any question regarding post-study work permit?
For extending that particular work permit after completing the education, do they need to hold anything minimum salary or something like that? Is that like criteria for the extending the work permit?
No. So there is no such extending the work permit. When they graduate, automatically they are given an opportunity. So 9 months of extension to seek an employer if they're not having a job already. Okay. So they have to find an employer which is a sponsor for them to file their TRC, temporary residence card. As soon as they have the employer, like if you are seeking a job and I'm the employer and I say, okay, I'm hiring you, you have graduated from EUS, and I give you the offer letter. On the basis of that offer letter, you will file the TRC, temporary residence card. And that TRC card is like Indian license, which shows 5 years validity. After that 5 years, what happened? So you should question me there. After 5 years, a student, if they have the similar job, the next TRC is issued for 10 years. And further to it, the next TRC again is issued for 10 years. So 5 plus 10 plus 10, they keep remaining in Estonia if they want. Or else they switch to another Schengen zone, whichever. Okay. So Estonia do not, if the student actually is not wanting to file the PR, they can keep staying in Estonia as much as they want. However, if they want to file the PR, they should meet two requirements. One, should be able to complete this 5 years of extension in Estonia, should be paying the taxes, because as soon as they have the employer, which means they're paying the taxes of the country. Okay. So they must be the taxpayers of that particular country for good 5 years.
What is the tax percentage?
It increases every year, and I believe currently it is up to 35% or so. We can see that, we can Google it. You will be able to know that.
Right. So, ma'am, if the student is earning 1,000 and his monthly expenses,
That is the in-hand salary, 1,080.
right, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question is, if he's earning 1,080, suppose around 570 is his monthly expense, and 35% is the tax that is added above that, right? Like he's
Above.
paying, right.
A
Okay.
student usually, so when we talk to our real students currently who are working there, and they are students, okay, when they go there and within a year, when we coordinate with them and say, okay, are you having a placement? So usually they earn around 1,600 to 1,800 euros per
Okay, now
month.
that clears it, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
So 1,600 to 1,800 after deduction of taxes, they cannot get below 1,080. That's the requirement of the country. So they usually earn over and above. And I'm talking about good engineers, the junior engineer job. If you talk about companies like Bolt, which was born in Estonia, if you talk about Skype, if a student is working there in those particular companies, or in Swapi, I will show you the employers now after this. So when students are working there, they are getting more payment. So they are not just restricted to, I would say, 1,800 to 2,000. They earn much higher than that. In Bolt, because it's a delivery company, they earn very high while being in Estonia, because it is like a per hour hourly wages that they receive. So depending upon what profile usually the student has, what you need to mention to the student is, do not compromise on the jobs, because in Olomouc city, any company which they are dreaming of is available there. Okay, so they should not be compromising on on their first employer. They should just wait and get selected in that particular company where they're wanting to build their career, and just stay connected with them. They will keep on uh, progressing in that domain. Okay, so that is the real, I would say, mantra to
Got it, ma'am.
succeed in Estonia, that they just keep flourishing in their own domain. If there is a BTech candidate who's going for the MBA, they remain themselves while they enter Estonia. Ask them to remain there with their own domain while working in, while studying MBA. So they need not change their field. This is how they grow there. And it is not for you and me actually to guide. During the orientation, that is the real time when our professors guide them of what to do. and how to follow the norms of holomasticity, how to utilize the connection of MENA group. So the students usually are very happy in Estonia and they are flourishing. Why? Because it is not such a professor and student relationship. It is more of an employer and employee relationship with them. Okay. Any questions from here?
Ma'am, one question. Is a change of course possible? Like if I've done a BCom and I want to opt for international business program, so is that possible? Like that is still possible, but an engineering program or change of course is possible?
You're saying if a student has done a bachelor's in any domain
Right.
and they're wanting to do an MBA,
Yeah, MBA. No, MBA is a different thing, ma'am. That is a general program. But if I'm talking about any tech program or anything of that sort,
we
for
don't have any
that
other program
information
in
specific.
the post graduation. We only have one master degree,
Right, right. Okay, got it.
but any domain can join this particular degree.
Okay, got it.
So a BTech student in CS, BTech Mechanical Engineering, MBBS can also go here. Masters in Healthcare Administration, Bachelor of Arts in Fashion Design can also go here. Why? Because we teach them how to launch your startup.
Got it, ma'am.
So we teach them in the first year the ethics of having their own business, strategy building, organization behavior, and how then to launch their business in the second year. So it's more of international business administration. So any student who has actually an aim to contribute towards a business or to form their own business, Dr. Janos will gauge that during the interview and he will call them, okay, come to Estonia, we will help you. So, as I told you, it's more of employer taking the interview and not just an academician taking an interview, right? So, it is for a student. Interview weighs almost 40% of the eligibility criteria. The rest is all not given much of an importance. A student, if they're having good motivation towards the subject, they can be called into Estonia and they can form their company. In Estonia, certain other USPs are a student can form their company within 15 minutes. It's a digital economy, as we mentioned. So it doesn't take much longer for a candidate to form their company there. Also, Wi Fi transport is free, as we told you. The other thing is MENA group, that the candidate can be connected with the best of the companies there and they can uh, work with them in the real time projects. So all the curriculum are aligned as per the industry requirement only. And every year those curriculum are changing. I will take you through the website of what I have spoken so that it is.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the student have to show the funds of 1 year living expense? And if yes, then how much? And
A
in what
student has
form?
to show 10 lakh rupees in the account. 10 lakh minimum of balance after paying off tuition fee. They need to pay the tuition fee before they file the visa. That is the requirement. I will
No,
take you through
ma'am.
the embassy process also. Okay, good, you reminded me. I will tell you of how embassy takes the interview and the documentation requirement. Okay, let me show you the website. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you see the university, you can see the About Us page and know more details about what EUAS is all about. Okay, it's in here. The Tallinn and Tartu campus is here. All right, coming to the admissions. Let me take you through the MBA program first. It's a 2 years program, as I told you. Classes happens thrice a week. You just click on read more and you can see the full curriculum. Okay. Here it is mentioned Monday to Wednesday every week. Only the classes are happening. For non-EU students, the deadline currently is 28th of June. In terms of the tuition fee, this is Dr. Janos actually who takes the interview. Okay. Here you see the curriculum. So in case you want to see each module, you can have a look at it. And the extensive view of each module will open up on the page. All right. So you can see what 20 ECTS would cover. And then the final one also. Plus thesis and research is an integral part which weighs 45 ECTS. So how and what they'll do? They'll do a master seminar, they'll write thesis, which is 30 credits. So all this thing a student has to know of what they're going to study. So show them this particular curriculum. Okay. Coming to the other programs. Creativity and business innovation, again, you can see it similar. Joint program is here, then software development and game designing. On each program, when you click, you will be able to have an overview about the curriculum. They've recently removed the tuition fee. I will share the brochure with you. Okay, it is 8,700 approximately for the master's degree program and 8,200 I guess for the bachelor's program. I'll show it to you from the brochures. I'll share it with you, or you might be having already the brochure with you. Okay, any questions from here? I'll take you to the scholarship page also, which a student can visit here. So if you see, mostly the scholarships are available, which is only for the existing students, and they need to apply for scholarship status and send it to the team. Right? So EUA scholarship is different, City scholarship is different, Talent City scholarship is different. There are scholarships by European Union, which are different. So different type of scholarships are available. And what is the maximum one would be here mentioned on each scholarship. How many seats are available? That also is here. Tuition free fee scholarship. So 100% scholarship is also there. Okay, so as I told you, but it is only valid for the candidates who are currently studying and not for the candidates who are freshmen. Let's see if they've moved on the tuition fee here. Creativity and Business Innovation Joint Program 7380. There is a discrepancy here. I will share the brochure with you. Okay, so maybe this is not updated. There's a discrepancy on this particular page. Any other questions from here, from the website? I can show you.
No, ma'am.
All right. For the accommodation resource, you can have a view here. However, I will share a few hostels which are available nearby the university. You can collaborate with them also for your students, or you can ask the student to write an email to them and book the accommodation, which is pretty easy and transparent. Okay, so that is there.
Ma'am, do you have any other university apart from this one?
Those are not exclusive to us. So we work with Talent Institute of Technology, Taltech. We work with Tartu University. We work with EBS, but those are not exclusive. Actually, Estonia as a country do not work with the agents because embassy, it's restricted by the embassy. So this is a very old association with us. We've been working there with them for now 10 years. Hence, this remains with us and we have good terms with the embassy. But otherwise, if I talk about embassy and they get to know that agents are filing the application or it's coming through them, then usually it can lead to visa refusal or they do not appreciate that. It is mentioned on the embassy website very strictly. So for Estonia, we refrain, just getting into any kind of
Okay,
complication.
ma'am. So for this university, there is no application fees. But if we have students who are interested in other universities, which you said, which are
Oh yes,
non-exclusive.
then there are SAT requirement also for UG. There is GRE, GMAT requirement also.
Okay.
Okay, but then if you have students who are wanting to go to Baltic countries as a whole, we can shift them to Lithuania or Latvia.
Ma'am,
But
in
not
Lithuania,
specific.
which universities do you have?
We have Vilnius University, Kaunas University of Technology, BMU, Vitsame University. In Latvia, we have all the universities.
Latvia, you have all the universities.
All the universities.
So if we want to, because we do have inquiries for Latvia and Lithuania.
We can
Yesterday
assess
also
the
I met one
applications.
student, but the student that I have sent the CV.
I will tell you the requirement is first division should be there. If a candidate is going for any kind of finance, accountancy, or IT subjects, they must carry 60 marks in mathematics. If they're going for accountancy, they must carry 60 marks in accounts. So, a first division, let's say the rule is if they're going for a specific course, they must have in that particular course 60 marks. That's the requirement.
Ma'am, in
Plus,
Lithuania,
overall
I
of
was
first division.
searching yesterday. In Lithuania, I found out that they don't accept 3 years Indian degree.
They do accept.
They do accept.
They do accept.
Because on cases site, it's
They
written.
do accept 3 years degree, but if a candidate is wanting to go for an MBA program, usually in the Baltic countries and in other Estonian university also, it's a requirement of minimum 2 years of experience is needed.
Okay, no, not for ma'am MBA. He's looking for other programs, but you said he has 59, so he's not eligible for Lithuania and Latvia.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am, what if we wanted to do training for Latvia?
We can do so according to the profile. It will be much easier because in Latvia we work for more than 10 universities.
No, but we
I
just
can name it
wanted,
to them. I can name it to you. You can write it down now. So
just
you
a
can
minute,
have a
ma'am.
look
I
of the
have a
profile.
list. I'll just share with you. Just a minute.
Yeah. And your counselors had first, let's finish up the Estonia part about the embassy.